Hey guys, it's Ronnie P, Pilot Garden and Reefer. I am going to give you guys a little bit of a look at this clear water scrubber CW-50 that I did a little modification on to try to see if we could, get the noise down on the drain. And anyway, went by Lowe's and picked up a few materials, made a few changes from some of the recommendations from clear water scrubbers. And I think that this is better than, what they're recommending, unless you run a lot less flow, through the unit. So I'll just give you some of, my take on this, and it'd be interesting to hear what Clear Water Scrubbers has to say. So maybe if they'll, leave a comment or something on my video. Not knocking them. I think it's a really good unit, and I like the way it looks. It's very aesthetically, pleasing to look at, compared to some of the other stuff out there. But anyway, I'll flip the camera around and we'll talk a little bit about what I did to try to make this a little quieter, and I think it's working. So there's still one little issue, and I'm not really sure what I can do about that, but I'm gonna flip the camera around and we'll talk about a little bit of what I've done to make it better than it was. All right, guys, so now you can see from my last video, I had it turned, basically to where the screen was facing out from under, which I think this is probably better anyway, because it's not so, it's not throwing the light out of the tank quite as bad. I still think I'm probably going to end up wanting to buy those little, the guards to go on the tank. I mean, on the, around the little tank of the scrubber, just to try to block out some of the light. I really think that ought to be included with this unit. I mean, it's just two pieces of plastic, and as much as you're paying for the unit, I mean, what would it have been to have thrown that in, changed the price and threw the, even if they did charge a little bit more for that, that ought to have been included, I think. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Now, per their directions, they say that this little barbed fitting on the end is 1/2 inch. So, I got 1/2 inch inside diameter tubing, and I'm telling you all, it was extremely difficult to get it to even get over the first barb of the fitting without trying to stretch the tubing. So I ended up changing the tubing. I ended up buying another little 10-foot roll of this clear tubing, and I went to the 5/8. I think it was the 5/8 diameter. And that was 5/8 inside diameter. So anyway, a little bit bigger, and that actually fit over the sachet pump, the little inlet that it's got. It fit over its little barb. All right, now the plumbing down here on the bottom, now they're saying that should be 1/2 inch, just like we've got it done on the emergency drain here. But if you run close to 200 gallons of flow, like they say the unit's rated, and you put this same 1/2 inch pipe that I've got on top on the bottom, it's gonna have this extreme excessive gurgling sound, and it's like a suction. It's almost like it's siphoning out the water, with force. And you can hear it sucking air. But anyway, when I took the fitting off and just ran it without the 1/2 inch pipe, just let the water spill directly out of the side of the scrubber, you didn't hear it gurgle anymore. However, you did hear the water splashing in the sump, but you didn't hear the gurgle. So what I did, I went back to Lowe's, and I'm gonna tell you, this little fitting that they've got, I don't know what size it is. To me, it would have made a lot better sense to have made this out of, parts that you could find right at Lowe's. And now maybe I was looking in the wrong spot, but since they're referring to like Schedule 40 PVC as some of the parts that you should use to put this together, it would have been better to have had actual PVC Schedule 40 type bulkhead, threads, so that you could screw on, a little adapter if you wanted to. Like if you wanted to come straight out of this with a 90, just like I did right here on the bottom, that would have worked. But I went and got a little adapter so that I could screw that on, and like basically a 90-degree elbow like this with threads, and then a pipe fitting just on this side. Well, the threads didn't fit. Now this nut right here on the top and the bottom here, it will screw on to a 3/4 male adapter right there at Lowe's in the PVC section. But you can't get a female to screw on to this male thread right here. It will not do it. So it's just slightly different, but not so much different that this nut won't screw on to a male PVC nipple. So what I did is I just had a plain 90 that's just got the PVC slip in on both sides, and I just slid the coupling directly over the threads, and it was tight enough over the threads that it won't come off. But you could push it on, not excessive force, but with just enough force to push it on that it felt as if you were, that it was actually mating up a little bit with the inside of this. So no threads on this 90-degree adapter. It just slipped right on, and it's just tight enough that there's no water leaking. It's on there tight enough that nothing will try to blow off. So that to me looks like a winner there as far as fixing this. Now I don't hear any gurgling from my scrubber. The only thing that I hear now is this water that's bubbling. If I raise this up out of the water, you can see the stream of water that's coming out of the pipe right here. And if you put the pipe underneath the water, the air, I guess the airspace, and maybe some of the air bubbles that you see down here that are getting sucked into the pipe are building up in the pipe, and you can hear the bubbling, coming out of the water a little bit. But that's a lot less noise. So what I'm gonna do is just take it to where it's mostly under the water. It's not completely under, but just enough that the bubbles can't just, where you don't hear them where they're coming up from inches below the water. They're actually breaking right at the surface, so it's not as loud. But you can still hear it, but it's not quite as annoying as it was when it was gurgling inside the unit right here at the bulkhead. So if I were you guys, yeah, I would definitely, use this size of clear tubing to put over that barb fitting. It fits pretty good. You just need to get some stainless steel hose clamps. And anyway, you get those stainless steel hose clamps and just, this is what I used right here. I just went with 1/2 to 7/8 stainless steel. Anyway, screwed them down on there and everything's good. It's not coming off with all that on there. And I used the same 5/8 inside diameter tubing on the Sichet pump with the stainless steel clamp, and that's not going anywhere. So anyway, I think if I were you guys and I wanted this scrubber, that I would definitely go with this larger pipe, the 3/4 on the bottom. And I would probably even do that even if I was gonna do, even if you had a pump that, that was using less flow. But for sure, if I could do it over again, I probably would have chanced it and got that Sichet, I think it's the Micro Plus. It's like 158 gallon an hour flow. And if I remember correctly, that pump even has a little knob on the side of it to where you can adjust the flow level. It just, that pump doesn't have as much head height pressure as this pump that I have in here. Plus that pump only has a 2-year warranty versus this one down here. You know, this is the I think it's the Sichet 0.5, 185 gallon an hour. Anyway, that pump down there has a 5-year warranty, so over twice the warranty. And it's only, and this pump right here was only $15 more. So anyway, I thought that was a good update there, showing a little bit of success getting this thing running. If there's any other advice that any of you guys have on how to make this thing run a little better, I would surely like to know. The only other thing I could think to do would be to change the pump, which I hate to have to buy another pump and not use the one that I've got under here. So anyway, just leave your comments if there's anything that you see that you think might work better, or if you have another idea, let me know, and maybe this will help you know, guide you guys if you are thinking about this scrubber. You know, part of me says maybe I should have went with the CW-100, but you know, you also look at the advice that they're also giving you to not oversize the scrubber to the tank that you have. And this scrubber is actually rated for more than what I have. I've got a 65-gallon total system, a 54-gallon display. So, I mean, I think this one's rated up to 120 gallons. So, I definitely think this is the right size. It just, you know, maybe if Clearwater Scrubbers, you know, designed this thing with a 3/4 or maybe a 1-inch bulkhead on the bottom, like they did some of the other scrubbers, that probably would have been better, you know, to allow for that 200 gallon an hour to flow out of there without these problems. So anyway, all right guys, well, I will shoot another update, you know, maybe in a week or so, just to let you know if I've had any issues, any problems with the setup here. And you know, maybe even between now and then, maybe I'll communicate a little bit with Clearwater Scrubbers. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching.